Well, I'm excited to talk with you guys today a little bit about our show, BareFace. And to loop you guys in, BareFace has a lead character named Orwell, which is played by the beautiful Clarke. But in the show, Orwell is considered to be ugly. And in many ways, she's an outcast, even though she's actually a princess in the realm of Ballet. So it's brought up a lot of questions for me about what it means to be other and what it means to be outcast for physical appearances or even for personality quirks or different things that each one of us has. And so I think that's a conversation that's so relevant to the industry that we're in. As dancers, there's some very specific aesthetics that we are asked for in our industry. And it's brought up for me as a woman, as a person of color, as a director who cares deeply about the dancers in the company. It's really brought up this sense of how can we help stop that cycle of making certain people feel othered within the industry. So here with me today is Jonathan Bostelman, Clarke, and Miranda Rubio, and we're going to discuss a little bit of their feelings of other within our industry. So Miranda, if you can start us off, how do you relate to Orwell and that feeling of otherness?
I think one of the biggest ways that I have seen kind of the same feeling of otherness that Orwell experiences in the ballet is, for me, I didn't start my professional training till I was about 16 years old, which by industry standards is super late for women. And I remember, like, even before I was accepted into a program that would train me pre-professionally, just Googling for like days and days, like, is it possible to start ballet training at this age? And just like looking for any sign of hope, because just simple as going on a website and seeing like, oh, our program doesn't accept students at this age for beginner classes or for intermediate classes, which is truly what I needed. There's no room for people to start or have a different path or a different timeline than what ballet industry wants. And for me, where I grew up, there just is not enough arts access. I came from a cornfield, there's not a lot of ballet teachers out there. And so that lack of access just led to me needing to wait. My parents, weren't comfortable or able to send me away at 8, 9, 10 years old to start pre-professional training in a city. And so my need to wait until I was old enough to be moved away and to be a little bit more on my own meant that I had to step into a different timeline. And there were a lot of times I can remember in those years walking into classrooms, and you just get an unconscious feeling from the person leading the class of like, oh, you're quite old, so they expect a certain level of experience or expertise, and that's not where I was. And so, you do two combinations, you could tell like they're not going to look at me for the rest of this entire class, when all I want and all I need is that person who's willing to believe and train that I'm able to take part in this industry and take part in this world of ballet.
Thanks, Miranda. Thank you for sharing that. Sarah, how about for you?
Yeah, so for me, it definitely started when I was growing up, training in a school, and from a very early age, I was told many times that my body and my physique was just not the type for ballet, and for many years that I believed that. I tried all that I could to fix it, to make it better, but after many years of healing and understanding that my body can do ballet, the fact that I can move, that I have a body, that is a ballet body, a body that can do ballet. So it's just been, something that relates to Orwell is that feeling of feeling like you aren't enough, that you can't make it, being told that you can't succeed and you cannot live the way that you are meant to live because of other standards, and specifically in the ballet industry. So yeah, I've overcome that, but it was a rough road for a while there, but I'm stronger for it.
Absolutely. So relatable, I think, to so many of us. Thank you for sharing that. How about for you, Jonathan?
In my experience growing up, I was always the tallest person in class. For our viewers at home, I'm just shy of 6'6". So I just kept growing, and because of that, my height really hindered me from understanding coordination and just the strength to move my body in the way I need to move in the ballet way. And so because of that, I was set back during my classes, just because a lot of teachers didn't understand that there are negotiations that have to be made with my body to achieve the goals that need to be achieved in core work and things like that, just always kind of sticking out. And so I really related that idea of other, of trying to figure out where it's like you feel like you're stuck in between of, well, you're not good enough to be a soloist, and you're too tall to be in the corps, so we don't really know what to do with you. And so kind of being in that world constantly of, well, is there a place for me in this world? If I'm not the prodigy who can just go out there, it doesn't matter how tall they are because they're always the soloists. So working through that and finding out that there is a place, because this is what I feel like I've been called to do, and the career path that I'm on is the right one, just to keep striving for that, and then finding people who poured into me to create a place for me that I could succeed.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Yeah, all three of your stories are beautiful and very relatable. And I think it's funny to kind of think about it through this lens, because a lot of our young dancers, when you come to see them in BareFace, you're gonna think that they had just like this magic road, because they're exquisite, you know, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful. They're doing so many amazing physical and theatrical feats on stage, and so I don't know that they would necessarily know that you've struggled with that as well. And so the point of this is just to encourage all of us, whether you're a student in training, whether you're like me and you're a director and a teacher, whether you're in the middle of your career, to learn more about what it means to be inclusive in the dance industry. And if you've made mistakes before, if you've bought into the mindset that certain things have to be there in order for somebody to be a dancer, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to say no to that and pick a different version to go forward in. So I just hope that everybody watching this can remember how beautiful it is to be unique and to be an individual, and how much creativity and power that truly gives to our art form. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.